Hi, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. Today I'm going to show you a cute little project that I've kind of mixed up a little bit. I did this as part of our 24-hour crafting and stamping event that we did on Facebook. So if you're catching this the day I posted it, you can still head over there to see some of the live action. Otherwise, you can run over and see some of the replays. They are on my Facebook, and I will have some blog posts, and then as this week progresses, I will get some of the stuff caught up. But we have a ton of content, as you can imagine, in 24 hours. So one of the things that we were talking about, I'm doing it with two of my other demonstrator friends, are how bees are so trendy. And as part of our event, we're giving away one of the LadyBug sets. So I really wanted to use this paper because it looks like honeycomb a little bit. And I really wanted to use it with some of our bees. But our bees are kind of elegant that we have. And I do have some elegant bee projects, as we all do. And we're talking about some of the bee trends and have some really cute bee stuff going on over there. So when I was looking at the LadyBugs, excuse me, I thought, well, I could put the LadyBugs with the beehives and they could just be friends. But then I thought, well, why don't I just switch my ladybugs up and make them into bees? Because, you know, when you're the artist, you have the control to do that. So this paper is actually called Silhouette, and it's in the annual catalog. It's a really bright, beautiful, bold designs, and you'll be seeing it more now that, you know, spring's on the way. So be watching for that. And I'm going to use the little ladybugs. This is a free set during Sale-A-Bration. You get it free as a hostess with $300 combined, and it goes to the hostess. Or if you have a lot of stuff that you want right now, then you get a ton of free stuff if you put a $300 order in of your own, but you'd also get this on top of it. And then I have one that I will be giving away at some point during a celebration, and then we do have one that we're giving away this weekend. So there are other ways that you can get them. It's a super cute set, and I already have a couple of samples on my YouTube channel. And then starting February 4th, there will be some dies that come out with them. And the card that I've already posted on my YouTube tutorial uses more of the dies than what I'm going to use today. Today I'm going to use them to cut them out, but to do the method I'm going to use, it really does help. So I'm going to use two of them. I've already run them through because they just actually cut out the outline, and you want to do this before you stamp. So you can see I've already taken them, and just a piece of Whisper White, I've run those through. So just the two shapes of the two images that I'm going to use. And then this is one that I have used to make a template. And I've already done it once, but I wanted to show you how to set this up if you haven't done it before. So I'm going to use the Stamparatus. Now you don't have to do it this way, but because I'm going to do Omitting, and because I wanted a nice bold black for my image design, I wanted to be able to have the option to stamp again on top. So you can see I've already stamped once here. And I like to use my grid paper over and over because, you know, I don't like to pay for scrap paper more than I have to. So I've just stamped with what was on here before. Make sure your grid paper is all the way lined up in the corner. And then it is easier if your paper is clean. But I'm also going to line this up on here. And they're not perfect because I didn't use this template. This is a new one. So what we're going to do this time, I'll show you the real way to do it. So just put this on here, put your magnet, hold it in place, and then take your dies, and just like a puzzle, I have an online class coming up, and you'll want to check it out. It uses some of the new dies as well that are limited edition, the coordination dies with one of the, I think it's called Positive Thoughts. I don't have all the class details written down, but we're going to do some of this so you can get multiple colors, and you'll get some in-depth teaching on how to do this. So you line it up like a puzzle, and then you're going to press down. The reason I moved it over was a little bit so we can make sure that now when I stamp, you want to make sure that everything's hitting inside here. The other reason you want to do it is because, you know, you're going to take all this time to stamp, and then sometimes when you run your stuff through your machine, it may squish a little bit. And if you take all this time to stamp, now my hands are dirty, and it squishes, then you've just wasted all that time because it doesn't run through the die machine correctly. So now, because now once we stamp, it will already be cut. So it looks like they're lined up pretty good on there. This one could be a fraction over maybe. I think she's good enough. So now you know where these are gonna be, and you take your little dies. I'm gonna take a tiny bit of adhesive. Just a tiny, tiny bit, because you don't want these to lift back out in case you wanna stamp them twice. Both of these I did stamp twice just because I wanted a nice dark image and because my Stampin' Right markers are several years old. If you have brand new ones, you might not need to stamp twice. So just get those lined up in there and then take your Stampin' Right marker. Now the idea is we're going from Ladybug to Bumblebee, right? So you don't want to get any of her dots. My cat has been on the table with me all morning. So I have cat hair, which I thought I got it all up, but I didn't think to get it on here off the Stamparatus. You can see I already pulled some off over there. So on parts of it, you can go fast and just color like we would with a marker, but everywhere on her little wings, be careful because you don't want to color those dots. Now I debated, you could color her wings black and just cover up the dots, but then she really doesn't look like a bee. I thought she looked more like a fly. This is the other reason it's nice to put it in the Stamparatus, because anytime you do this omitting, sometimes you omit something that you didn't mean to omit. Just pull this on here. Don't get those dots, but you need her feet, you need all the outline. And on a couple of these, like right here, it's hard to tell if it's really like where her hands are and where the dots are and where they're shading, because there's a little bit of everything with her dots. So if you want, just pull the stamp case out. Like here's the stem to this flower. So there's a lot of stuff going on besides just the dots. The dots that are in the middle of her wings are obvious. That's another reason I had it in the Stamparatus, because the very first time I stamped it, I wasn't really sure. Once you've done it once, because you can see now it's got a little bit of color on it, it's easier to kind of tell. And this marker isn't really so dry. Some of my Stampin' Right markers I have had, they have the original tips on them. So they are from when we first had Stampin' Right markers, which has probably been, I don't know, maybe 18, 20 years. I could pull the original catalog out. I have the catalogs from all 25 years that I've had Stampin' Up! Catalogs, which sometimes, you know, I keep them more for memory's sake because I don't pull them out very often. Okay. So now you're just gonna take this. You could huff on it if you want, but because I think I'm probably gonna do 2 dimensional backings, it's just so staticky in our houses right now. I'm ready to open the windows and get some of the dry heat out of here. So now you can see I don't have any dots anywhere. And right here, like I obviously didn't get this. Just totally didn't get it. So if you don't have it in the Stamparatus, then you would just have to live without having her middle stripe right there. Or you could go back and try to hand draw it. So I want her face to be a little bit darker. This time I'm not gonna, if I don't get everything, I don't really care. But I do like to have a nice dark outline, especially because this is going on a gift. And I want it to be pretty. It doesn't take long, just kind of go over it again. Once you have the ink on and you know you didn't get any of the wrong places, but right here, look, I missed that little wing part. So go back and get that little wing part while I'm looking at it. And I missed part of our hand because it does touch. See right here where it touches a dot? So I just didn't get that. Is there any place else I missed? Didn't get great on the sides of her face either. But I'm not going to do the whole thing. So I'm just going to get the places, both of our hands need a little help. And it's because they're close to the edges and I didn't want to And sometimes, you know, you're looking backwards on the Stamparatus, so this you have to think it's flipped over on the other side. But that should be good. Now, your coloring options are limited, so you have 2 options. And I did consider wiping this off. You could clean these off while they're on the Stamparatus, and then ink them with Versamark, and look how much better they look. And then emboss them with clear embossing powder. Then you would be able to use any watercolor or anything where you're gonna add some water to it. But I'm not going to be able to add water to it because if I do, it would smear. And I'm not gonna color both of them because there's no point, because they will color just the same. So I'm going to go totally retro old school, and I'm just going to use some watercolor pencils with no water, no blender pen, because if you put water or blender pen on this, it's just gonna smear. So you're gonna have done all that for no reason. But it's fine because you can get a really pretty look with just the watercolor pencils. It's still a tiny bit wet. It does take this a second to dry. I should have started with a gray and moved to gray. So I'll tell you the colors I have. I don't have a lot. This is Daffodil. This is Basic Gray. And these are our watercolor pencils, and they do come in our colors. Now, if it smears a little bit in the gray, it won't matter. It doesn't take it very long to dry, but it was all I could see where it was kind of welled up on there. So I'm gonna do our wings in gray. Actually, I think he's a he, because he's giving her a flower, or they're best friends. It just depends on who you're giving the gift to. And then we're going to do every other stripe in the gray. And then do his little head in the gray. Kind of use different brush strokes because you're not going to be able to take the blender pen as you normally would and blend those out. And go back and get the yellow now. So this is Daffodil. And I want it to be nice and bright because that paper that I'm putting with is nice and bright paper. And then I have Pumpkin Pie, and I'm just going to use it for some shading because, again, I'm not going to be able to use water. So we're going to have to let the pencils do the shading for us. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of Pumpkin Pie and press lightly to give a little bit of cheek color. And that's it for the Pumpkin Pie. And then I have some Olive. And this would make a really fun little St. Patrick's Day gift or a St. Patrick's Day card, because this little ladybug, or bee, is holding a 4-leaf clover. And I'm using Olive because that's what's in the paper. Now this is Basic Black, and this is a chance anywhere on the wings if you got a tiny bit of a dot to kind of shade that in. And then you want to get her hands and her feet. And then this little place up here, I'm going to make it all the way dark. And again, use a little bit of shading over here. And this is replacing kind of what the blender pen would be able to do for us if we were going to be able to use some water. It's just adding the highlight. And then go back with your lighter color. So go back with your yellow and go over that, and those will blend those two colors together. And same with the gray. Take the gray now. And you can press hard with these now on this second coat to kind of smear these around. And just smear that little bit of cheek color in. And it kind of also makes the pencil marks go away. And then you just pop these out of here. And now, because you've already run them through the die cut machine, you don't chance running them through and having all that work and then having your die mush over. You know, on the rare occasion that maybe you send it through the machine wrong, because it's so depressing if you do all this work and then it doesn't cut right. So do it this, if you use the Stamparatus, you can do it this direction. So then we have the little envelope, the boxes that you can put cards in. So I took mine, I filled it with some chocolate, and this is random chocolate because I was doing this project. We have a chocolate segment and I really wanted to do this bead project. So I had two projects that I was trying to smush into one. So this is literally the only chocolate in my house that I could find that was like the right color to go with this. So it's not really arranged nicely, but that's exactly all I had. And so it is what I had that would fit in the box. But these are our envelope and card boxes. So they're in the catalog and you can put cards and envelopes to give as gifts or to store them in yourself. But they also are great for chocolate. You could also put, if this wasn't a chocolate segment, I might have put like some tea and sweetener for some honey since it's a bee project. You could put hand lotion. There's all kinds of gifts that you could stick in this with a bee theme. So then I just you slide the paper in. So I just cut the paper and it's a little bit larger than card size. So it's a little bit larger than 4 1/4 and a little bit larger than 5 1/2 because a card standard US, I don't know if in the other parts of the world, if your boxes are a little bit bigger. So you just slide that in there. It's not glued in, so it would be able to come out. And then I took my Stays On pad and I stamped the You're So Sweet since I had the chocolate in there. That's also from the LadyBug set. I added my 2 ladybugs, and then this is the daffodil ribbon that comes in the birthday bonanza. And I just tied that around there because when you have the chocolate in these, you really do need to kind of hold that shut. So there you go. We changed our little ladybugs into some bees and gave her a really bright honeycomb and some really yummy chocolate. So I'll give you a secret. If you have watched my office tour, we all did studio tours as part of our 24-hour event, so you can see our workspaces. You know that in my studio, I have lots of places where I keep chocolate for purposes such as this. This is chocolate that was downstairs in my kitchen that I keep hidden from my husband, although it's getting kind of old. Sweets aren't really my thing. You know, give me a bag of potato chips and I could eat the whole thing. Chocolates aren't my thing, but these are my favorites. So they were hidden where he doesn't know where they are. Mind you, he has a whole bunch of his favorite chocolates. He takes chocolate in his lunch every day. But in my office, I have like seasonal Christmas, Valentine, Easter from like 4 years ago that I just recycle. And none of those were the appropriate colors. So I had to go down and break into like my own personal stash. So if you know what kind of chocolates I like, they need to have nuts. They can't be terribly sweet. Usually they're dark. So there you go. I hope you enjoy that. And if you're still watching this on the weekend it posted, or if you want to watch some of our replays, we have so much fun stuff to show you. You can go to Facebook and search at the symbol, Friends to Stamp, or you can go to my Cheri's cards and I will have links there too for you. And I'll put all that below this video on YouTube. Have a great day. Bye.